Go to your room.
Can you see anyone? No, you. All clear. Thank God, I thought we'd never get away.
Yeah. Cigarette?
Thanks.
Cheers. Oh dear.
What?
I think I left them inside.
Tell me you're joking.
Sorry.
Sorry. Do you have any idea what I go through to get us here?
Calm down.
I'm down. I haven't had a cigarette since yesterday. And now the only opportunity I have until tomorrow is gone. And you're telling me to be calm?
Sister Catherine. Relax. Yeah, I'll go back inside and get them.
You can't! Mother Superior will see you, and she'll make you do dishes.
And we're stuck out here with nothing.
Oh, it's okay. Look.
Give me that. Did you bring the lighter?
Of course! Yeah. It's not working.
Keep trying, Sister Rosa.
Give it to me. I think it's out of fluid.
Out of fluid. Out of fluid? How could it be out of fluid? Didn't you fill it up?
It's a disposable.
Disposable. You bought a disposable lighter. Well, what good is that? It's not as if we can go out and buy lighters whenever we want, is it?
Can't exactly go out and buy lighter fluid either.
Oh, wait, I nearly got it.
Oh, yes. Oh, God! That is better than sex.
Pardon?
How do you know it's better than sex?
Well, think about it. You can suck on a cigarette and...
Oh, well, thank you, sister. I don't need to hear any more.
Actually, cigarettes are better than men.
I don't need to hear this.
Oh, they don't leave the toilet seat up for one.
They don't hug the sheets.
They don't care what you look like naked.
A cigarette is always long and hard. Most of the time.
You do need to go to confession. You have a very unhealthy preoccupation with sex.
Oh, Sister Bernadette, don't be such a fuddy-duddy.
We're only having a little fun.
I suppose. Well, it's not as if you really would do anything like that. Sisters,
What?
tell me you haven't.
All right, we won't tell you.
Mary and Joseph.
Actually, Brother Michael, if you must know.
I thought he was gay.
I actually.
This is sinful. I must report this to Mother Superior.
Whoa! Hang on a second, sister.
If you say anything, she'll ask exactly how you found out.
Which means you'll have to tell about our little sessions together.
Well, I'm willing to suffer the consequences of my actions, and I will do penance accordingly.
And the fact that you also found out about her and Father Callaghan.
What do you mean?
Well, let's just say their shoes share the same space under the bed.
No, you're lying.
I wouldn't lie. It's a sin.
Then how do you know?
We've seen the DVD.
How could there be a DVD unless someone filmed?
Brother Samuels, for a bottle of scotch, no less.
A very good bottle of scotch.
Brother Samuels.
He likes to watch.
Very artistic with the lens.
I don't believe any of this.
We can show you if you like.
No, please.
And it's not just the Mother Superior. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They're all into it.
Yep, Brother Edwards is quite the headbanger.
This is wrong. I need to report this. To who? I'll go to the bishop. What's so funny? What's so funny?
Oh, let me put it this way. You can do anything you want.
Provided you're discreet and don't tell anybody.
Anything, and I mean anything.
Except smoke.
Why is that?
Well, for starters, smoking is bad for you.
It's also political.
It's ridiculous.
It's like this. Cigarettes are owned by big business, and even though they don't admit it, corporations influence government policy.
The government doesn't want to be seen as corrupt.
So it puts up a front to oppose cigarettes.
What about the medical association?
The Medical Association...
Don't get us started about them.
The Medical Association is funded by the government and the corporation.
It needs the funding from both to stay in business, so it also puts up a front. Hypocritical to the last.
But this has nothing to do with the church, or what seems to be going on here.
That's where you're wrong.
Even though church and state are separate, they're not really.
The church and the government have been in bed together forever.
Each lending support to the other.
And each putting up a front.
So the people don't get wise.
Which is why we're not allowed to smoke.
Well, so they turn a blind eye to everything else except smoking.
It's political and corporate poison.
But it's discrimination.
Tell me about it.
I mean, we should have the right to choose for ourselves if we want to smoke.
No argument there.
Well, we should stand up for our rights. We should protest.
Hold on a second, sister.
Let's shout from the rooftops.
What? No shouting.
Come out of the closets. I'm a smoker and I'm proud of it.
Mother Superior will hear you.
I don't care. Mother Superior is a sinner.
Be quiet, damn it.
No, we need to write up petitions. Picket the bishop's office and burn huge cigarette effigies outside the Vatican.
Activism isn't the answer.
No, we have to stand up for our rights.
Protesting doesn't work. People lose interest after the first few minutes of a rally.
It's a headline one day and kitty litter the next.
But smokers need a voice so that they have to be heard too.
It's not how things are done.
Real change happens from within.
I don't understand.
The same thing that keeps corporations, government, and the church in power is the same tool that can be used to bring change.
What funding?
Leverage. If you have leverage, you have power.
But we don't have any leverage.
Oh, but we do.
DVDs.
Oh!
When the time is right.
Soon we won't have to hide behind a convent.
But won't we go to hell for this?
The devil is a businessman.
I'm sure we can come to some arrangement.
What do you know about AIDS?
AIDS? I never touched a stuff. Is that a new designer drug?
AIDS? Yeah, I know about AIDS. Don't let a poof share a drink with you. Don't stand next to one that busts if he farts. And, yeah, most important, don't let one of the bastards touch your tools.
So, Captain, what is AIDS?
It's obvious, Mega. Alcoholically induced dizzy spells.
I'm Mr. News with non-event.
Good evening. This is I Missed It News. I'm non-event. The new highly resistant condom has just hit the stores. Public reaction to the safe product has been mixed.
I'm glad to see the reaction, though. Interesting, yeah.
How would he know? Tomorrow night we'll be looking at the controversial new sex diaries. Are they as daffy as they sound? what bugs need to be ironed out. This is non-event for the I Missed It news. That's all, folks.
This event.
Confession.
I was in a steady relationship for a few months with this guy, and it was great, you know. We had a few laughs, we got on well, and we were good in bed. He used a condom, and everything was fine. Anyway, recently I met this other guy who was a real hunk. Nice body, cute ass. And we started talking and drinking, and we went to bed. It was only a casual thing, but I regretted it. My boyfriend found out, and it was really embarrassing because I found him in bed with a rubber doll. And he just turned to me and said, well, at least I know who she's been sleeping with.
Grim reality. These days, even I have to wear a condom because you just never know.
Good morning, Corporal.
Good morning, sir.
And who do we shoot today?
It says here on the list that...
Wait. Let me guess. The Aborigines, correct?
No, sir, the Aboriginals are hung on Mondays.
Mondays? Of course they are. Ah, Jews and Catholics then.
No, sir, the religious groups are on Sundays.
Sundays? Of course they are. Ah, the environmentalist. I just can't wait until that kind is extinct.
No, sir, the environmentalists are on Wednesdays. Today is Thursday. It's the gays and junkies.
Gays and junkies? I love to watch them grovel and squirm. They're such drama queens. And they put on a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Right! Off we go then! Sir! Right! Any last requests then? No. Good. Backs to the walls. Right, Corporal. Who said we don't have the solution to the AIDS problem then?
clumsy, you're too fat, and you're very old.
Maybe. Can still pawn the chicks, though.
You pull is none of my business. I don't have to put up with this. I work with Jet Li, Van Damme, Benny the Jet, Jackie Chan.
Yeah, as their caterer.
Screw up one more time, you're fired.
You can't fire me. I'm the producer.
See a nigga see头呢，那个哇，那个这个死人个死头，那个搞错啊，那个死。
And that's lunch.
You lousy good-for-nothing bum. What kind of a cheap punk stiff glue out of a tube?
They're out of fountain ink.
You think being a smart ass makes you tough?
No. Smashing wood with my head makes me feel tough.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
Because it feels good when I stop.
Jesus, you're a strange one.
And what would you know about it?
Okay, listen up. I'm here to tell you to clean up your act. The industry's depending on you.
The industry? The industry thinks I'm a dinosaur.
You may be a dinosaur, but you ain't extinct yet. You still got a job to do.
Nobody wants our sort of tough guys anymore. They want fairies that fly on wires, CG heroes that crawl up walls.
That's why you gotta carry on the old tradition of beating the crap out of people, blowing them away with a 45, and everyone cheered.
Those days are over. Maybe I should just pack it away.
Then what are they left with? Stupid reality TV movies. I wouldn't wish that on a drugged up psychotic punk with a 12-gauge shotgun. People still need their heroes, even fallen ones.
What about fallen heroes that can't get up?
Old Chinese saying, he who knows he's had enough is rich. To die but not to perish is to remain eternally present.
Watched a lot of Kung Fu, did you?
Worked for Carradine. Don't give up.
Hand it over, I'm gonna slam you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
No, she robbed me.
What?
She stole my wallet.
No! More fighting! More fighting! Fighting! You are the best martial artist I ever see!
Really?
Better than Michelle Yeoh! What's your name?
Cynthia Lee.
Cynthia Lee. I'm going to make you a big star.
What? She's a crook. She stole someone's wallet.
Do I get my own trailer?
No, maybe later.
Didn't you hear me? She's a criminal. Woman basher. Ow.
Come. Mr. P.U. Epic. William Shakespeare. I sent a play to you about a month ago.
Shakespeare. Oh, yes, the guy with the flowery words. Love the tights. Just come from Mardi Gras?
I always dress like this.
Of course you do. Have a seat, Bill.
Oh, no, thank you. I've just eaten.
Oh, a sense of humour. I like that.
About the play.
Play? Of course. Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet.
Juliet. Yes, I never was much good with foreign names. Play. Oh, yes, loved it. Laughed all the way through.
Laughed? But it's a tragedy.
Oh, come on, Bill. Your writing's not that bad. Trust me. We are going to have to make a few changes, though.
Changes? What changes?
Well, the dialogue has to be a lot tighter. I mean, you can't have too many flowery words. You've got to allow for commercial breaks.
Those words are poetry.
And another thing, we can't have any castles. This is a low-budget film. We can use someone's flat in Paddington.
Oh, preposterous.
So I'm not too keen on the idea of kids making out, then killing each other. I mean, the sex scenes are fine. We can shoot them in soft focus in the back of the station wagon. But the senses are really going to come down heavy if kids start killing each other.
But it's a love story.
That's another thing. You know what would make this a really big hit, especially with the gay scene? If we called it Ronald and Julian. Yes, or Rebecca and Juliet. Yes, now we've got it.
Oh, stop. I've heard enough of this rubbish. You, sir, are a perverter of the fine art, and I shall have nothing further to do with you. And I shall take my play and leave.
It eats him. Cyril, how are you? Listen, I've got this wonderful idea for a film. Yes, it's a gay love story set amongst some bridal passion. It's called Romeo and Julian. Yes, we must do lunch and discuss it over my briefs.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Armchair Anthropology, where we visit strange and exotic lands from the comfort of your own living room with a nice warm pair of slippers and a cup of tea. I'm Professor Muddlestein of the University of Bonkenberg, and tonight we explore the strange mores and customs and the cultural kinesis of my own land of Bonkenberg. I remember the time when I was only a lad. There was the feast and festivities of the mating ritual at the winter solstice. The natives were thrusting and preening and displaying lots of colours and a full ensemble of ways. There were many tribes such as the Waibangi and the Dildoni tribes. The mating ritual is a rare and spectacular event. In fact, when viewing, one has a euphoric feeling which can only be described as a three-dimensional orgasm. truly a unique and indelible species where one gesture speaks 1,000 metaphors. Then there are the delicacies such as the salamandri lizardus and the funny ticklepenny, truly representative of the medical profession, and of course the Tripodicus maximus, a species truly ahead of itself. Not a shy creature, the Tripodicus maximus solicits its affections in a manner befitting its evolutionary hormonal predecessors, similar to, in fact, the hummingbird flitting from flower to flower, or a randy cat in a back alley. Many an individual with a flutter of an eyelid can arouse a passion unequalled in its short and carnal history. One must understand that to partake in this ritual is truly a charismatic religious experience. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'll partake in a cold shower. And it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Good evening, and welcome to Interview with an Alien, the show where extraterrestrials are questioned about issues affecting their world and ours. I'm John Thomas. Tonight's guest is 777015 from the planet 10101010, but we will call her 7 to save time. 7, welcome to the show.
Acknowledge.
Just a brief explanation to our viewers before we start. 7's voice is being translated through our language processor. It may sound a little strange, but that's technology for you. Now 7, your world has gone total tech to the point that everything is controlled by computers. In fact, people on your world can't even go to the loo unless they download an app for it.
Do you wish to know how it works?
Not particularly.
It's very simple, you just...
It's fine, really. Getting onto your security protocols. Is it true you monitor all your people 24/7?
That is correct.
Why?
How else can we cater for the needs of the people if we don't know what they are doing inside their homes?
Isn't that an invasion of privacy?
Not if it's consented to.
People consent to being spied on?
It's in the fine print of their contract.
But isn't it true that the information from this spying is sold to advertising companies for the purpose of bombarding these people with hardcore sales tactics?
We prefer to call it targeted marketing.
Bloody criminal is what it should be called.
It's our way of doing business.
It isn't just marketing. You manipulate people's opinions with false news reports.
The reports are not false. They are edited to cater to the needs of our more sensitive viewers.
But you're telling lies.
We prefer the term altered truth.
Altered truth? This is why some of your people don't know the difference between truth and fiction.
It's for their own good.
And that's why you have a planet of cyborgs populated by idiots who believe their world is flat.
People are entitled to believe what they want. We do not discriminate.
On another topic, isn't it possible your world could be crippled if there was a cyber attack? I mean, what would you do if every computer was hacked? Could your world still function?
We have excellent antiviral software.
But even the best antivirus has its limitations. Didn't cyber terrorists from Ursa Minor hack into your system and spam it with pictures of naked mole rats in pink tutus?
Our firewalls prevented the offensive material from being viewed, and we retaliated by spamming Ursa Minor with videos of hagfish singing Gangnam Style.
But it's fair to say your system has its flaws.
Our software is perfect. It will never fail.
Not entirely true. A solar flare froze all your planetary systems last year. Didn't it take your perfect systems some time to reboot?
It was inconvenient.
Inconvenient? I'd say it was downright catastrophic, wouldn't you? People trapped for days in elevators and transport tubes, utilities not working properly, even the vending machines broke down and no one could buy coffee. How did people handle the day without coffee?
People coped.
Coped? There were reports of riots, threats of suicide, and people going insane because they didn't know how to dress themselves without an app.
People handle stress in different ways.
That's the point. Your people don't know how to handle anything without an app.
Our system allows us to lead perfect lives.
Perfectly bland lives. Let's face it, nothing exciting happens on your planet.
Untrue. We have many stimulating virtual experiences available.
But they're virtual. They're not real.
They simulate reality adequately. Our virtual brothels, for example, have 5-star ratings. Patrons can adjust their level of pleasure and they are safer than the real thing.
Didn't one of those brothels malfunction recently? I'm told the client accidentally had sex with a ugly blowfish.
True, the system was still adjusting after the solar flare. The client did not ask for a refund as he said it was the best sex he ever had.
Reports say during the solar flare, people were unable to text each other.
Indeed, it was a devastating time for everyone. Many young people were treated for trauma. It was most distressing.
I'm sorry to hear that. Have these young people recovered?
Most are still in therapy, some are beyond treatment, others are still in comas.
Which brings me to my point. Your people have become so dependent on technology that your society would not survive without it.
Why would we want to?
And that's all we have time for this week. Join us next week for another episode of Interview with an Alien. Thank you, good night, and remember, watch the skies.
Good evening and welcome to the first of 6 episodes of Interview with an Alien, the show where extraterrestrials are questioned about issues affecting their world and ours. I'm John Thomas, and tonight's guest is Enormicus Dicus from the planet Economus Maximus Minor. Enormicus, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Just a brief explanation to our viewers before we start. Enormicus' voice is being translated through our language processor. It may sound a little strange, but that's technology for you. Enormicus, your planet is one of the richest in the galaxy because of the strong trade agreements with other planets and your disproportionate distribution of wealth.
Yes, we are very proud of the billionaires that make our economy strong.
However, you've had a bit of a setback recently because of the plague.
Yes, it's been devastating for the economy. Huge losses in many of our industries. Several have declared bankruptcy.
And the fatality rate?
Well, the good news is the plague only affects the older population, the ones that drain our welfare system and contribute nothing to the economy.
How is this good news?
With the elderly eliminated, the economy is better off. As I said, they are useless to the economy, and they can no longer drain the system of hard-earned money with their useless welfare payments. That money can now be put to better use by our wealthier citizens who need that capital to maintain a prosperous lifestyle.
So, in other words, the rich get richer and the elderly die off.
Yes, it's good for the economy all around.
Exactly how does this plague affect the elderly citizens?
It's quite amusing to watch. First they go into uncontrollable fits of laughter, then constant hiccups, and the final stage is continuous farting, and this is what kills them. Like this.
It must be terribly distressing for the relatives of these victims.
Our citizens have been ordered to wear masks because of the final stage. The gas can cause our worker citizens to become ill and force them to stay home, and that is what is causing this devastating problem to the economy.
So, it's the enormous gas output from your elderly that has crippled production in many of your industries?
Which is our primary concern. If workers stay at home, it affects the profit margins. That's why we encourage our worker citizens to stay away from the elderly and battle on through any illness and come to work regardless.
And what about these elderly citizens?
Oh, they are quarantined in a special facility, so they can't gas healthier citizens.
Are the elderly isolated in this facility?
Oh no, they are allowed to integrate. It's our hope they will gas each other to death.
I see. To the origins of this plague, reports say it is the result of a bioweapon being developed in one of your labs that accidentally got out into the general population.
No, that is not true. We do not deal in bioweapons.
According to intelligence reports from other planets, you were planning to use the plague to infect neighboring worlds in order to cripple their economy, which would force them into taking out loans with you and ultimately taking over their planet when they can't possibly repay their debt.
Lies! All lies!
Not according to the inhabitants of Sirius Major. They claim a similar method was used by you to take over their world.
Propaganda put out by conspiracy fanatics.
Representatives of Beetlejuice and Ursa Minor have made similar claims.
Rubbish. It's all fake news.
What about the accusations that your planet threatened to boycott any planetary system that refused to trade with you?
If you're talking about Kepler Prime, we have good reason to boycott them.
Which is?
Their fish tasted funny.
Kepler fish are considered one of the finest delicacies in the galaxy.
They're too salty.
They're fish. They're supposed to be salty.
They're too salty.
I see. So the boycott had nothing to do with the fact their federation threatened to take your planet to the Galactic Court for strong-arm trading tactics?
We are a peaceful people. We do not strong-arm anyone.
That's not what the citizens of your colony planet say.
Who said that? I want names.
When they tried to declare independence, you sent in your forces and tickled them to death.
What can I say? We have very sensitive feet.
Getting back to the plague, have your scientists found a cure yet?
No, we're hoping it will run its course and kill off all the elderly citizens.
Well, that's a bit heartless, don't you think? I can't imagine how the families of these elderly victims must feel.
The funeral businesses have done very well, and their families are extremely grateful.
And that's all we have time for this week. Join us next week for when...
Good evening. I'm Carmen Marina, and welcome to the Unexplained Files. It can happen to anyone at any time. A disease that has spread throughout the city like wildfire. Spontaneous human combustion. We sent our reporter, Ash Smolder, out to track down the foremost authority on the subject, Dr. Louis Cypher.
I'm trying to speak with Dr. Louis Cypher, the noted biophysicist and chemist who's leading the fight to find a cure for spontaneous combustion. Dr. Cypher, welcome.
Ah, Mr. Smolder, thank you.
Doctor, what causes spontaneous combustion?
Well, researchers have come up with a number of hypotheses. An imbalance of acid and alkaline in the body, hypersensitivity to certain food additives, allergies to reality television programs, even ASIO testing, or just simply something in the water.
And are any of these theories sound?
Possibly, but I believe my theory is better. I believe that some people have too much atomic activity in their body, and if an electron spins out of control, it causes a chaotic reaction, and boom.
Can you substantiate this theory, Doctor?
Most certainly. Over the last year, we've conducted experiments on a number of people. And we found...
People, Doctor?
Of course, why not? Since the government made it illegal to experiment on animals, we've been forced to conduct our trials on homeless people. Here comes one now. As you can see, he was a POP, a potential organoexplosive person, and he was suffering from nuclear thermal organic syndrome, NUTS, or NUTS for short. This simple device just sped up the whole process.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm standing outside the city's largest nuclear facility. I'm speaking with Frank Burns, a former employee of the plant who has been dismissed because he has been diagnosed with nuts. Mr. Burns, do you feel you have been unfairly discriminated against?
Well, not really, no.
How can you say that? They fired you on very personal grounds.
Well, you can see their point. I mean, you can't have people exploding around nuclear reactors. I mean, It gets very unhealthy for all concerned.
Dana Scrawny, unexplained files. God, I've gone blind! Help!
Doctor, can you tell just by looking at someone if they're a possible POP?
Ah, yes. See that lovely young lady over there? Well, she's about to go off at any minute.
Doctor, that's no lady. That's a hook.
Well, in that case, she probably will go off. Now that's what I call a blowjob.
Reminds me of the last barbecue that you and I had. You were going out with that girl, what was her name? Janet somebody or other something, and she dropped the beer on the floor, do you remember? Glass went everywhere, and then she got some in her foot. She cut her foot open with it, and it was bleeding and stuff. Oh, she was a nightmare. Remember she was telling us that if you had the, the actual power through your hand, you could point it through your finger and the smoke would go the other way from the barbecue? Oh, she was a worry. Jesus, mate, you've overdone that a bit. Anyway, do you remember I had to give her a lift home and stuff, and she spewed out the window of my car, covered the entire car? Oh, she was a worry. Glad you dumped her.
Johnny Firebird is a self-proclaimed nutter. Almost a third of the profits of his new album, Fireball XL 500, go directly to pop charities and other support groups. Johnny, what do you have to say about the way pops and people suspected of having nuts are treated?
Well, that's hardly fair, you know? I mean, like, you've got all these people out there no one can relate to or what they're going through, you know?
You initiated the pop charity concert. In fact, you led the board of organizers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. A few itches there.
Like what?
Well, they wanted to make it a non-smoking event. I says, you can't do that. If you do that, then the people it was meant for wouldn't be allowed in, would they? They says the venue has very strict fire regulations, and I says, well, look, they can only explode once. And besides, the only people they're hurting is themselves, so what's the harm?
So how did you solve this problem?
We did the concert at the crematorium. Turned out to be a great bonus, really. Great ambience. They even had their own organ.
Smokin'!
I hear there was an incident with your husband.
It wasn't possible to have any sort of intimate relationship with him. He insisted on wearing a full-body asbestos suit in case I had any hot flushes.
That must have been humiliating.
It got worse. Whenever I got excited, he would spray me with the fire extinguisher.
How awful.
I told him I couldn't live like this anymore. I was tired of taking cold showers all the time. He made me so angry, I started losing my temper.
And what did he do?
He called the fire brigade. He thought I was going to explode.
What happened next?
He ran outside and...
exploded.
And the stupid bastard ran in front of a fire truck.
Doctor, it seems a lot of people have profited from this disaster, including yourself.
What? What are you implying?
I'm saying that a lot of organizations such as Bang, Foom, and Fire have reported a net profit turnover more than $900,000 per annum, and your name features prominently in the records of all those organizations.
Where did you hear that?
Well, we have our sources.
It's a lie, I tell you. A blatant lie.
Well, then how do you explain the $7 million increase in your personal wealth spread over several offshore bank accounts?
I do very well on the scratchies.
And back to you, Carmen.
Fiery stuff. And we'll be back after the break.
Are your body bags old and useless? Do loved ones keep falling out in the waistband? Then you need the Everright body bag from Cartel. Simply slip the tear-resistant plastic cover over the rotting corpse and tie with the slip-resistant string. Dispose of your loved ones with dignity. Everright body bags from Cartel. Now available in clear and compact.